Aging is not a thief that robs us of youth, but a teacher that quietly removes illusions. Each wrinkle, each slower step, is a lesson written by time about impermanence and humility. When we resist the years, we suffer. When we accept them, we begin to understand life's deeper rhythm. The Stoics remind us that everything follows nature's order, including our own aging. To age is to align ourselves with that flow instead of fighting against it. There's peace in saying, this too is part of the design. When we stop chasing what is gone, we start living fully in what remains. Acceptance is not resignation, it is wisdom in motion. In our youth, we believed time was infinite. We ran toward goals, love, and dreams as though we could hold them forever. But age reveals the truth. Everything we possess is borrowed. Marcus Aurelius taught that life is lent, not given, and that gratitude, not ownership, should guide us. The body changes, the face softens, and the passions quiet. But this does not mean loss, it means refinement. We no longer burn with restless fire. We glow with steady light. The Stoic path invites us to cherish each breath as a gift, not a guarantee. When we learn to thank time instead of fear it, aging becomes an act of grace. The mirror can be both a friend and an enemy in old age. It reflects what was, but also what is our history written in flesh. The Stoics urge us to see beyond the surface, to look inward where time cannot reach. No wrinkle touches the soul. No gray hair dulls character. To age beautifully is to turn the gaze inward, toward the virtues we have cultivated. Temperance, courage, kindness, these do not decay. They deepen. If we could see ourselves through the eyes of wisdom, we would realize that true beauty never fades, it matures. Aging humbles the body but elevates the mind. In youth, we learn. In middle age, we achieve. In old age, we understand. Seneca once said that life's final act should be lived with dignity, not fear. The older we become, the more we recognize that the world continues without our control. What once stirred us to anger now only earns a quiet smile. Our energy turns inward, seeking calm instead of conquest. The Stoic elder does not retreat from life. He participates differently with serenity. Perhaps aging is not the closing of a door, but the opening of a quieter one. Loss becomes familiar as we grow older. Friends leave, opportunities fade, and the world moves faster than we can follow. Yet the Stoic heart learns not to grieve what is natural. Epictetus taught that we suffer not from events, but from our judgments about them. To lose is not tragedy. It is the rhythm of existence. What remains is the ability to love deeply and detach gently. To hold a memory without clinging to it is to honor it. Each farewell, when accepted, becomes a step toward peace. In the end, nothing truly ours can ever be taken. There comes a time when ambition softens into contemplation. The need to prove, to compete, to be seen, these desires fade like mist. The Stoic elder finds joy not in more, but in enough. He walks slowly, not because he must, but because he finally chooses to. The world still sparkles, but its meaning has changed. What matters now are not victories but virtues. Simplicity becomes luxury. Silence becomes music. When the noise of striving falls away, the voice of the soul can finally be heard. Acceptance does not mean we love every change, it means we no longer fight them. The body weakens, yet the spirit gains strength through surrender. Every ache reminds us that we have lived. Every slow morning teaches patience. The Stoic learns to greet discomfort as a messenger, not an enemy. To live well is to adapt, not resist. The river of time does not pause for anyone, but we can learn to float instead of struggle. There is quiet dignity in flowing where life leads. We spend much of life preparing for beginnings, rarely for endings. But aging teaches us the sacredness of closure. To finish a day, a chapter, or a lifetime with calm acceptance is the mark of true wisdom. The Stoic mind sees endings not as losses, but as transitions. Every sunset prepares us for the next dawn in another form. When we accept that even our own story must one day close, we stop fearing the turning of the page. In acceptance, we discover the peace that youth could never find. Gratitude becomes our strongest ally in old age. When the body falters and plans fall short, gratitude keeps the spirit light. To wake each day and see the sun is no small miracle. The Stoics remind us to give thanks for what remains, not mourn what has passed. Gratitude shifts our gaze from scarcity to abundance. Each breath, each conversation, each quiet evening becomes sacred. To age gratefully is to live richly, even in simplicity. Perhaps joy was never about youth, it was always about awareness. Fear often shadows the later years' fear of illness, loneliness, death. But Stoicism offers courage in the face of the inevitable. What we fear is not death itself, but the thought of losing control. Yet control was never ours to begin with. The Stoic path teaches us to focus only on what depends on us, our thoughts, our actions, our attitude. Everything else belongs to nature. When we accept this truth, fear dissolves into calm understanding. Aging is not the enemy, it is the unveiling of reality. Time, once an adversary, becomes an ally to the Stoic heart. Each passing year strips away illusions, leaving behind what is true. Youth chases dreams. Age cherishes moments. The Stoics do not mourn time lost, they honor time lived. Every season has its wisdom, every wrinkle its story. To age without bitterness is to live without regret. The beauty of time is not in its length, but in its depth. Only when we stop counting years do we begin to truly inhabit them. In the stillness of old age, we rediscover the art of being present. We no longer hurry through hours. We inhabit them. The Stoics valued the moment as the only possession we truly own. The past is memory, the future is imagination, but this breath, this now, is life itself. To age with presence is to finally live consciously. When we sit beneath a tree and feel the breeze, time ceases to matter. Eternity is hidden in each ordinary moment, waiting to be noticed. Forgiveness becomes lighter with age. The heart that once carried resentment grows tired of its own burden. The Stoic elder forgives not for others, but for his own peace. To release anger is to release oneself from chains. What once felt like injustice now seems trivial in the vastness of time. We realize that holding onto pain only delays our freedom. Forgiveness, then, is not weakness, it is wisdom's final gift. In letting go, we become weightless. The pursuit of meaning changes in later years. We no longer ask, "What can I achieve?" but rather, "What can I contribute?" The Stoic elder seeks to serve through example, to live with dignity, restraint, and compassion. Influence comes not from power, but from presence. A kind word, a steady hand, a patient silence can change lives more than grand speeches. The purpose of aging, perhaps, is to become a living embodiment of peace. Legacy is not what we leave behind, but what we radiate now. Loneliness visits often in aging, but Stoicism teaches that solitude is not emptiness, it is space for reflection. The world quiets, and we are left with ourselves. In that silence, we discover who we've always been. To sit alone and feel at home is a rare kind of freedom. The Stoic knows that self-sufficiency is not isolation, but harmony with one's own mind. When we find peace in solitude, we are never truly alone again. Silence becomes companionship. There is a gentle courage in facing mortality with open eyes. The Stoics urged us to meditate on death not with fear, but with clarity. Memento mori, remember you must die, was not a warning, but a call to live meaningfully. To know that time is finite sharpens our gratitude. We no longer postpone joy or kindness. Death, when accepted, becomes a mirror that reflects life's true worth. The art of aging gracefully is, at its heart, the art of preparing beautifully to leave. Every season of life brings its own rhythm. The Stoic elder learns to move with that rhythm, not against it. Youth dances, middle age builds, old age listens. Each has its place in the grand harmony of existence. To resist aging is to fight nature. To accept it is to join the symphony. There is beauty in slowing down, in letting the world move around us while we remain still. The quiet observer sees more than the hurried traveler ever could. Wisdom is not a reward of age, it is its essence. The Stoic sees wisdom not as knowledge, but as alignment with truth. We stop asking why me, and begin to ask why not me. The world owes us nothing, yet gives us everything. Every hardship, every joy, every loss shapes the sculpture of the soul. To age wisely is to see that nothing was wasted. All that remains is gratitude and peace. Patience becomes the final lesson of aging. We wait not for what is next, but for what is now to unfold. The Stoics remind us that nature never hurries, yet everything is accomplished. Our task is not to rush life, but to move with it. The sunsets grow slower, the meals simpler, the conversations softer, and that is enough. Patience transforms aging from decline into ripening. The fruit of a long life is not youth recaptured, but serenity earned as we stand at the threshold of life's twilight and when the final moment comes. The Stoic elder meets it not with fear, but with calm recognition. He has lived according to nature, loved without clinging, and accepted what was given. Death is not an interruption, but the final note of a complete melody. To accept aging is to accept all of life and in doing so, to transcend it. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live." Perhaps acceptance itself is the purest form of living.